major. And then we can start to just draw in some melody lines. Just as far as rules of thumb, one way to be pretty sure that a melody note's going to sound good is if it shows up in the chord below. So I have that first chord below, that's C, E, G. So I can start to draw in melody notes that are in that chord. It's also another thing to mention that there's something called a passing tone, which is like a quick little note that a lot of times happens in between chords, but if you use it as a quick note and it's not in the chord, it could still sound good. So we can try that. Let's just see what that sounds like. And when I'm hearing back those two parts being repeated, I'm already starting to think that, you know what, it would be better if it didn't just repeat verbatim like that, but if that last note changed, maybe to the root. Let's try that and see what that sounds like. So I think that's a little better, is because, again, you're going to be trying to create contrast from section to section. So it's a couple things that are super common that you hear in melodies all the time are starting on the root like I did here, and also starting on the downbeat, which I also did here. So those kind of things tend to ground your melody and make them feel sort of safe and comfortable and like appropriate to a song that should feel that way, if that's what your lyrics are about. But a lot of times a good way to create contrast is if you're doing that in one section, don't do that in another. You could start your melody on a different beat altogether. And so this was the melody that we had for one section. We can have a lot shorter notes in a different section. So now we're not starting on the downbeat. I waited until the one and to start this here. And then I'll just shorten, I should even have a different pattern, but so you can see as far as patterns go, this looks different from that one. This one's going down, this one's going up and then down again. So there will be some contrast between those two. And then these notes are a lot shorter in this one as opposed to this one, which has longer notes. And then also, like I mentioned, this is a less thought of thing, but not starting on the downbeat and not starting on the tonic of the key. So let's see how that sounds. And when I put those together, since these aren't really acting as two different sections, they're acting as one. They kind of work as one line. Like that could even be one melodic line. So again, this is something that comes up just by messing around with this. And then I could try something totally different that as a pattern looks different visually from this for another section if I want to keep this all as one melody line. You can use this also for trying to come up with vocal harmonies. So let's simplify what we had as our melody here. So let's get rid of all this stuff. And then I'll put back this. So this was our melody. So a lot of times having a third above or below the melody is a good way to have a vocal harmony. So I can try just adding that to see what that would sound like. Now the only thing with this is, usually the melody would be louder in volume than the harmony. This is going to give us 2 equal volumes. It's, one of the limitations of this tool, but we could still just start to get an idea for what things would sound like. So let's put the chords on, and then we'll play that the melody and harmony together. So I mean, there's something there. I might want to change some things. A lot of times, I find this too, especially when I'm writing vocal harmonies. Is you may start with something that follows the melody exactly, but then you change it as you start to listen back. And here, it seemed to me that B was sounding a little bit dissonant. Like it sounded pretty good until it got to this note. And that even sounds okay by itself, but with the chord, I mean, the B is in that chord, but something sounded a little off depending on what I wanted the mood for the song to be. Maybe I just try pushing this up to there, and I could see what that sounds like over the chords. So that sounds much more harmonious to me. So if that's what I was going for my song, I think I would go with that C instead of that B. Again, it all depends on the feel. It depends on what I think this song is going to be about. But you could see how just simply shifting a note up or down can make a big difference. Let's to hear that back to back. Let's create that here. So now I have the melody is exactly the same. It's going to be this line that's on the bottom. The harmony is the same except for that last note. This one stays a third above the entire time, and this one goes up to the C on the last note, and all the chords are the same. So let's hear that. So you can hear that big difference between where that harmony note is. And again, it's super easy for me to be able to understand it by laying things out this way. And of course, you can experiment with different things too. You can try having the harmony be a fifth above. That's another common thing to do for vocal harmonies instead of a third. Or sometimes you have both. You can also play around with that. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that video. The full version of that lesson is in our members site, which is called the Songwriting Success Circle. And if you want more information on improving your melody writing, right now I've got a couple of free cheat sheets for you that you can download by tapping on the screen here. And if you haven't yet subscribed to this YouTube channel to stay updated on our latest songwriting videos, you can tap our logo on the screen for that. And I've also got links for that stuff below this video. So thank you for checking this one out. I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care.